I greet you folks. Welcome one more time to another program in the series Homo Politicus. It does one thing, and that's a clause at any issue that tends to raise the national adrenaline, just so you know. I am Citizen Jones Usain. Welcome. Now, this morning, prodigality versus restraint. Nigeria wasted $500,000 at COP28. Will be prudent henceforth. My country has perfected the ignoble art of profligacy without restraint, that it has become second nature. Or how else does one rationalize the outcome of a presidential audit which reveals that Nigerian government wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars at the 2023 Convention on Climate Change, aka COP28. The amount, we are told, was expended on wasteful contracts and sundry consultancies, plus other avoidable expenses. You recall that countries to the important conference, including more populous ones, came with far less delegates, but not us. And so this year's conference, COP29, is scheduled for Baku, Azerbaijan, and thankfully, presidential spokesman Ajuri Ngelale has revealed that President Bola Tinubu was committed to prudence and efficiency aimed at curbing waste and prodigality. If this must be believed, then a tacit approval by Mr. President of delegation size and expenses ahead of COP29 must mean we are on the way to national restraint from prodigality. Shall we interrogate the subject? I have two gentlemen to broach the subject matter. In no particular order, we'll be welcoming John Akirele in faraway Saitama, Japan. And of course, here at the studio, we have Emeka Madunagu.
Thank you so much.
Brother John, I greet you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good morning, Citizen Jones.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, Emeka, so this is not a subject matter that's new to us. So it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we discussed this same subject matter at that time on this table.
Okay.
So this is just like a rehash. But just adding the interesting angle that the presidency has suddenly woken up to the cries of Nigerians, the criticisms of Nigerians, which some of their people, railed against. They said we were wrong, that we were just busybodies. But we have been proved right by what the government has recently said about the conference. One of the things we need to deal with in this country is refusal to adhere to due process. That's a big problem. You don't go to a conference with a large delegation, where
to prove a point.
To prove what? Interestingly, you see, Nigerians were banned from getting visas to the United Arab Emirates at the time. And so there was this general talk in town that that conference provided an opportunity for people who evidently had no business being at the conference to travel to the United Arab Emirates for shopping. So that a lot of them went on shopping. So now
shopping spree.
A shopping spree, yeah. Well, I didn't want to add spree. I just really said the word shopping.
Because shopping would suggest that John would know that shopping in this case would mean taking something off the shelf, but the spree is where.
I definitely avoided using the word spree. That's why I said they went shopping.
Say it as
whether it was a spree or they were just picking items. The fact of the matter was that we achieved nothing.
Yeah.
At the last COP, we achieved nothing. And even previous COPs, what benefit those COPs being to Nigeria?
Yeah.
We have our local problems, which we should find solutions to, whether local or foreign. But the issue at every point should be adherence to global best practices. But what do we do? Every trip, every conference is an opportunity for a jamboree. And that should not be. That is why you see 500,000 is even a conservative estimate. But you know what 500,000 is? 500,000
at a time like this.
At a time like this is a lot of money. How much was budgeted for student loan? The segregated student loan. Bursaries. When last the federal government, you now find out that a number of Nigerians who are schooling and who are on government scholarship abroad are being threatened by their host countries. They are being threatened with deportation. And then we have such money to throw, into a jamboree. And then one other thing is that the government actually acknowledged that that it wasted money, particularly on consultancies. Look at Nigeria's huge debt. I keep telling you, anytime you hear Nigeria is going to take any debt, look, demand accountability. Ask for the figures.
You mean
when you break it down,
going to take a loan?
Going to take a loan.
Yeah.
Break it down. You will find that a significant portion of that loan is going to lawyers, accountants, consultants. Yes.
And the strict balance for that is the boys.
No. The one for the boys is even out of. I'm talking about the ones, the portion where they will list, that this is, for consultancy, for professional consultancy. But the one for the boys, you won't find it there.
Emeka, let's join John. Johnny, how do you weigh in on this?
Citizen John, good morning to everyone about the globe. I think the first thing for me is the fact that I don't know which one to believe. Because if you remember, under the same administration, the same Ajuri and other presidential spokesperson have issued several statements that it took the courage of the other countries to debunk those statements. That those statements are not true, neither are they valid. And so for me, and if you're saying this for me, I'm in between. I don't know, maybe tomorrow they will say, oh, that was the slip of tongue from him. However, when this issue of COP came up, some of us raised our voices. And why did we say? We said that let's make sure that people on that list should be people who have businesses at the conference.
Directly.
It's a pity that we have over 1,000 delegates. We are competing in terms of delegates with the likes of other countries like China,
India.
When you look at our GDP, you see that we are not even closer
at all.
When you look at the way they are moving their things, when you look at the way their leaders are accountable to the citizenry, we are not at par. And so for me, this administration should ask themselves one singular question, and the question is, of what economic importance is this trip to us? And so I think what we should do as a people from now is anybody that we're using the people's tax to send on an errand, and if that errand is not productive, that person is an affidavit that is being jailed for wastage of public funds. Because for me, it's an abuse on the people. If we have sent you to go on a summit and we are using our money as a country to pay for your bills, and at the end of the day, you cannot say this is what we have provided, this is what you are bringing back in terms of evidence. Do you understand? So for me, this administration should look at this issue and say, anywhere we are putting our money, it must come with equal productivity of the same amount of funds that has been injected into it. So let's say, for instance, if that amount of money has been injected into creating jobs in Nigeria, do you know how many jobs that would have been created?
Oh, yeah.
That money is injected into healthcare sector. Do you know how many hospitals that would have been revamped? Do you know how many new ones that would have been built? And so these are things that we're saying that people must know that these are public funds and people should be held accountable for it. And lastly, citizen.
Yeah. Go on. Are you listening? That must be delayed signals. Yeah. Will we establish contact with John Akerele?
He's back.
John, okay, you are back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we lost the contact to you just for a few seconds. You are back now, bro. As you were saying.
So what I'm saying is that we've noticed that in our own plan, our leaders do not take responsibility for their actions. And that is why you see this nuisance and level of, frivolities keep on rubbing it on our faces. So I think going forward, anybody who is going on an international conference or a summit, when you come back from that summit, there should be an audit. This you have gone to, of what import is it to the Nigerian economy, of what investment are you bringing in, what are the initiatives, what are the deals that have been signed that will improve our state-of-the-art economy, that will improve us economically, that will even improve us in terms of other countries of the world, so that when we talk about climate change, we can say as a nation that we've also lent our own voice into it. It's not just packing every Tom, Dick, and Harry, on shopping spree, just like my brother in the studio said. I think going forward, we can do better as a nation.
Okay, Emeka, it would seem to me to be that we're having a rethink.
Well, maybe I'll say it this way. I think the government is just trying to play smart, play on the intelligence of Nigerians. Yes, it's a typical government, maneuver. Look at the criticism that have greeted the refurbished presidential jet and other recent governmental spendings. So in order to douse that fire, government has thrown this in to, tell Nigerians that no, we're just, we are as concerned as you are about public expenditure. Not for government to say that, we are sending a bill to the National Assembly, just like my brother in Japan said, we are sending a bill to say, okay, this is how we want to run public expenditure going forward. Accountability, transparency. Look, I take you to what the Minister for FCT, Nyesom Wike, said, yesterday, when he declared the park and pay policy in the FCT illegal.
Yeah, illegal, yeah.
Something struck me where he said that the consultants take 80%, and then the FCT takes 20%, and then I calculated it. 80%, if you remove 30% or even 40% and use it to employ youths, Nigerian youths, even those residents in Abuja, you will provide jobs for up to 2,000 youths. 2,000 youths. That is one side of it.
Okay.
Now, if you say, okay, that money should go to the FCT administration, because there's an FCT, there's a department in the FCT that's actually meant to handle issues of parking, on-street parking, and all of that. Now, you will use it to employ youths, and in Nigeria, for every employed person in Nigeria, there are an estimated 5 dependents. So, if you employ 2,000 youths times 5, that is, you are taking care of the welfare sustenance of 10,000 people. And you can imagine 10,000 people who are sure of their daily bread, whatever the size is, whether it's square meals or round meals, but at least they can look forward to some form of sustenance on a daily basis. And now I'm talking about paying them like even at minimum wage, 70,000, monthly minimum wage. Now, when you look at this, Wike said, why would you expect somebody to pay for parking in his own compound when you also collect land use charge and ground rent from that person? So when you look at all of this, and this thing has been on for over 10 years, who are the consultants? So you see that Nigeria's problem is not the absence of policies, but the problem is the greed. That greed, GREED, has become a national creed, CREED. And if we must get this country, back on the path of moral rectitude, we need to slay that monster called greed. We must slay it. So all of these consultancies, and it cuts across the federal, the state, the local government, things that people are being paid salaries to do every month. These things are being given to consultants. Why? Okay. You can use that consultancy money to employ as many Nigerians as possible.
Okay. Let's return to Saitama, Japan, where our man John Akerele is waiting patiently. John, at a time like this, we cannot but draw parallels with Japan, you know, how would they treat things like this? I know that in Japan, a fearful word is harakiri. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, I do. You see, something like that can never happen here in Japan.
Never.
And the reason is because whatever you want to do, there is a list. And the public, you know, the list is shown to the public. The people that are going on the trip, what are they going to do? How much will they spend? All of these things are, you can get it.
Yeah.
It's free information for all. And so you know who is who. And then you can ask yourself that question. This person on this list, does he have the competence or the expertise to be on this crew? Do you understand? It will even amaze you as far as Olympic is concerned. All of the list of all the athletes going for Olympic was published. It is as detailed as that. To the coaching crew, to the technical, everybody's name was published. So you can know the people that are on this team. And then you can say, this person is not on this team and should not be there. But they have shown transparency. They have shown how much they are going to spend. So you know how much it's going to cost one athlete to be at the Olympics representing Japan. But in our own case, we don't even know. And so for me, that is a sad reality. And so we should that we should change from this thing. And if this government is serious, I think for me, let's not blame the past leaders. Our heroes past have failed us severally. But you, the present hero, can you stand on a good note so that we can say that even the heroes past have failed us, you, the living hero that is on the seat now, can you put us aright? And by showing your body language as president, that these are things that we should do so that we can see that if people are the presidents who are doing the right thing, then every other person...
Yeah, Brother John, let me tease you a little. Do you think in Nigeria, we are going to be 64 years old very soon, in October. Do you think it is possible to be your own man in this country? When you get into office, you begin to exert yourself. Is it possible?
It's very possible. I think Nigerians are the easiest people to govern on earth. All Nigerians who want to do is leadership by example. Let me give an example, Citizen Jones. If today I become president of the country, and I say to you that I, as a president, will not drive an official car, then will you say to me, you are a minister under my position, if your president is not an official car, you have the infantry who has an official car, you dare not. So it means that
after all, we say a team is as good as the captain.
Absolutely.
So from my own body language, you know, if I say to you, for me, all of those allowance allegations of the presidency should be taken off. I want to be paid the same salary as the professor of a university. Then you know that a minister serving in my cabinet already have an idea of how much salary is going to be.
Yeah.
You cannot earn more than me, the president. And so if I said to you that for me as a president, I will not go on international medical trip, which means that all of our citizens locally will have to function because the president will have to take healthcare services there. Do you understand? And so these are some of the little things. And so if you see me today, I'm wearing my Ankara and I'm doing my Filapiti Aja from Abeokuta, then you know I'm telling you by Nigeria. You look at the car I'm driving, either it's innocent vehicle or it's not motors. Then will you tell me as a minister that you want me to import Toyota from Japan? No. So I'm saying these are the little things that leadership, once you do that, Nigerians see you. You don't need to talk. When they see you, they see the light, they follow suit. And you see that things start to fall in place. If as the president, I come in, I declare my assets, that before becoming president, this is how much I have in my bank account. These are the number of houses I have, the number of businesses I have. And then this is my salary as the president. And then if I'm leaving, I also say there should be an audit. Before and after. Who was me before the president? Before I became the president? Who is me after my presidency tenure? So when they look at all of these things, everybody understand that this president has set a new tone. Lastly, citizen.
Signals are dropped again. Oh dear, what a shame. When John comes back, we'll put him on. But Emeka, he talked about a sitting president declaring his assets. You know, in the open era, only late President Muhammad Umar Erdogan declared his assets.
Yeah.
You are worried that if you declare your assets, it tells me, and even the blind will read it in Braille, that this man is coming to do a job.
You see, I'll just, if you permit me to quote from the Bible, Apostle Paul said somewhere, he said, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient.
Okay. I think John is back. Let's confirm that. John, you are back, right? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Yeah, I can. It was a glitch. You know this network thing will come and go, you know.
So he now said also,
Thank you. We'll get back to you very shortly.
he now said also, he said, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. He repeated, he said, all things are lawful, but I will not be brought under the power of any. That is where we have the disconnect in Nigeria.
Okay.
That you have, like some people will say, it's your right, to ride an SUV, imported SUV. But you say, no, I am giving up that right in the public interest. I'm giving up that right,
to teach a lesson.
To teach a lesson to generations unborn, to the up and coming generations. Why? In frugality, in prudence. Because let me tell you, no matter how wealthy you are, how well off you are, you can't occupy a bigger space than the size of your body.
Yeah.
You can't eat more food than your body.
You can't sleep on two beds at the same time.
The more you eat, the more your intake, the more you endanger your health.
Yeah.
So, you have to start from somewhere.
Moderation.
You must have people who say, yes, I can go with a delegation of 1,000 people to any conference. But we are going to give up that right. As a matter of fact, we are putting it in the law that right cannot supersede the public right.
Yeah.
So as a matter of fact, I, as the president, will sell off all the jets and presidential fleet and go by commercial flights. Yes, go by commercial flights.
Save costs
And do something. You see, disruptions. Why are these countries, Japan and the rest of them, why are they ahead? They are doing things that people imagine, are these people okay? But they're doing it. Somebody was telling me the other day that the MD of his company, a big company in Nigeria, he's a European. That in Nigeria, he just told them, he uses one car that takes him from his home to the office.
A functional vehicle.
Drops him in the office. Drops him at home at the end of. Then when he gets back to Europe, he uses a scooter. That is the MD of a multinational. He uses a scooter back home. So the point is, we cannot continue with this profligacy because that is removing food from the mouth of people. So when you're going for a conference, it is not, you're not a Bill Gates. You're not an Aliko Dangote.
No. Emeka, it is said if you are a truck, you don't need to carry a banner because we see you already. Don't announce.
Yes, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka said a tiger does not put tigritude. You don't know about saying I am a tiger.
That's it.
I'm a tiger. So sometimes when you ask people about these leaders, the largest nation on this, who cares about those leaders?
Yeah, so what?
You see, what people want to see is a nation that works for the people. A nation where you have power supply 24 hours. A nation where the people are busy. And let me just quickly add that I look forward to the day a leader will come up that will lift people out of poverty. Because there was something John said, which I doubt if it can be practiced in Nigeria, to publish such things and say, okay, this is Mr. XYZ. This is how much he's going to. The man will decline because the expectations from people, the entitlement mentality that Nigerians have, we need to deal with that entitlement mentality. Because people will be calling it, we know you are going to China for a conference. We can see it. That, like somebody once said, one columnist said, somebody once called him and said, you are so close, they say you are close to President Muhammadu Buhari. Then, you even said the other day, you even published the birthday message Buhari sent to you. And my father died. You can't give me a cow. Look at that entitlement mentality. We need to do something about poverty and entitlement mentality among Nigerians.
All right. Brother John.
Citizen.
Yeah, time is a master here, but before we apply the brakes, let me drop this here. You know, at a time like this, the Yoruba, your Yoruba country, very rich in wisecracks and sayings, no less so my people in Akwa Ibom. They say when a small boy trips, he looks ahead.
Yeah.
But when the elderly falls down, he looks around and looks back. Try to determine what made him fall or her fall, you know. So we have tripped too many times. Don't you think we can begin to go home, in a manner of speaking? Because if I quote, if I read what the presidential spokesman, Ajuri Ngelale said, it seems we are becoming penitent. You have heard that song, Shena like this we go the day. Yeah. Yeah.
Quickly, I don't want to read from headlines.
Okay.
Or hear from him. I want to see actions. I want to say that there is a platform where that name can be verified. I want to see that these are the list of Nigerians going for CUP in Azerbaijan this year. This is how much it will cost each candidate to go there. This is how much we'll spend on their accommodation for the number of days. Per head, we are spending $3,000 per head, and we have 40 delegates. These 40 delegates, these are their names, these are their portfolios, this is where they are from.
Oh, yeah.
And so, with that would say to me that you are more serious than telling me that you have set up, don't set up committee. Just start with that singular action. Then we can say that indeed we are falling as an elder, we have looked back to look at what made us to fall. And as a young person also, we are falling and we have looked ahead. So looking back to what made us to fall down and looking ahead to see how we can make corrections and move ahead. So for me, I want actions, not just mouth, because I have to hear many talk, but no action.
Yeah, I cannot. I underscore what you're saying. You know, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, corruption is worse than diabetes. Emeka, when you consider diabetes and corruption, which one is worse?
Diabetes, you can treat it. You can treat diabetes. You can manage it.
No, but it's debilitating.
Well, it depends. It's about lifestyle changes. You can manage diabetes. Obasanjo has managed diabetes for over 40 years. General Obasanjo, the former president, he has managed diabetes for over 40 years. You know, so diabetes can be managed. You know, lifestyle change. But corruption.
Can you manage corruption?
How do you manage? That is the problem. Corruption kills. Corruption destroys. Corruption steals. So how do you manage?
You know, as I teased John earlier on, in Japan, if you are accused of corruption, you know, you commit harakiri.
You don't even need it, because when the society works for you, there is power supply. You have an efficient transportation system.
Yeah.
You have value for your money. You know, you can get a job easily. Why do you want to steal? Because the question, people will look at you as somebody who is
sick,
who has a problem. Yeah. You know, they'll rather take you to, you know, a mental institution.
Yeah.
Because why? With all of this, what do you need this for? What exactly? Your spouse, you know,
primitive acquisition,
your children. So what do you need all of this for? So that is what we need to, like John said. When we need to look into the future, that we cannot continue like this. We cannot continue to borrow for, you know, lavish expenditure. We cannot continue to allow
to remain prodigal.
We cannot afford it. We cannot keep borrowing. You see all these conferences, by the way, what do these conferences do for us? Was it not, if I'm not mistaken, was it one of the conferences where former President Muhammadu Buhari went to and agreed to cap our coal exploitation, that we have stopped exploiting coal?
Yeah.
Why? Because he was advised by his Minister of Environment then, you know, okay, sign this agreement. For what? And we have, you know, huge challenge of power generation, power supply. That with coal.
Meanwhile, South Africa depends on coal to generate electricity as we speak.
One of our big men in Nigeria, was said to have imported a large quantity of coal from South Africa to power his factories. So, and we have coal in Nigeria. What I'm talking about. So, we must just tell ourselves the truth.
Yeah.
We've been in slumber for too long. Let us just wake up and tell ourselves that we can't continue.
Okay, Brother John, the producer says to tell you, use the next 60 seconds to wind up your thoughts. Let's go.
All right, Citizen Jones, thank you. I think for me, I want a president or an administration, starting from the presidency to the House of Assembly, to the governors, to show that indeed they are frugal, to show that indeed they meant to serve the people. After all, they were not poor men before they came into office.
Yeah.
And so they should not use that office to amass wealth for themselves, if indeed they want to serve the country. So I'm looking forward to a system where a public servant will go to General Hospital in the state to access medical health care center. And let them pass that bill. If you're a National Assembly member and you are a 21 constituency, if you are sick, they should take you to the hospital in your constituency. If you get there and there's no syringe, then you will understand that there's a problem and it's fire the motor. But in a case where we keep jetting out every now and then because we have international passport and because we have the largest of the offices, those Nigerians should be cautious. Let's lock our borders. Let's sit inside.
Thank you.
And make it work. God bless Nigeria.
Yeah, still well. I thank you very kindly for your time, John.
Thank you very much.
That's John Akerele in faraway Saitama, Japan. Yeah, Emeka, how do you close?
Well, I just want to say exactly, share the same,
sentiments.
Thoughts. Yes. And look, we cannot continue like this. We must say that. Look at what happened during the recent protests in the north. That was a claim, and the police, I feel so ashamed that Nigeria police think they can be justified enough to put these people on trial. It's something that is a national shame. As a matter of fact, President Bola Tinubu should declare a day of national mourning, 3 days of national mourning, to mourn for the fact that Nigeria has gone so far down, that people could remove the signboard of a police station, that people could go to the extent they did. And look at the irony. People raided a library, they left the books, took the brooms, took the dust, pans and all
that. The books are a haram.
That should tell us we should declare 3 days of national mourning in Nigeria to mourn for our descent into depravity, so that we can begin to trace ourselves back. Or else, what can happen is blowing in the wind.
Okay. All right, folks. We must end the chat here, but not before thanking you for your time. Again, I cannot thank John Akerele enough. Thank you, John. Until the next time. Emeka, many thanks for your time. Let the debate continue. I want to end on this optimistic note. We have fallen down many times, but we can get up. It takes one giant step. I'm out of here. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.